and I'm still waking up, but it's a beautiful day. It is really nice outside. Temperatures are going to reach up to about 25 degrees, which is incredible. I'm really looking forward to that. So this is North Sydney over here, and down the harbour just this way I believe is the city of just Sydney, Nova Scotia, which I'm going to drive to for a coffee this morning. There's the other ship. I believe that one takes you to Argentia, the other port in Newfoundland. Is much, 3 hours sleep, but whenever you arrive at a new destination, the energy levels are amped. Let's go see Cape Breton Island. The ferry terminal is located in North Sydney, but we're gonna make a brief stop at Sydney first because I need a cup of coffee. Alright, made it to Sydney, Nova Scotia. Sydney's a big name. It's the name of one of my top 5 cities in the world, Sydney, Australia. Sydney Sweeney, of course. World famous NHL hockey player Sidney Crosby. And now we're here in Sydney, Nova Scotia. And interesting. Dr. Luke's. So, cappuccino is A+. That's a good, strong cappuccino. That's what I need right now. We've got a toy store and a trans flag. Interesting. That's an awesome mural. No homelessness encampments here in this city. Good job, Sydney. These famous cities around the world are known for their landmark. Paris has the Eiffel Tower. New York has the Statue of Liberty. Sydney, Australia has the Opera House. But Sydney, Nova Scotia has the fiddle. The fiddle stands 17 meters tall and weighs about 8 tons. And it represents the unique culture of this part of Nova Scotia. And we can listen to that beautiful music in the background. And here's kind of the main downtown area of Sydney. So the fiddle's right over here. I parked my car on Charlotte Street. The city has really developed the harbor area around here quite nicely, with a docking area over here and just a nice boardwalk to walk. Here is the famous Sydney sign. These flags are everywhere. Alright, let's cross. And no ticket. Thank God. Kind of a bizarre lead up to this place. I wonder what is going on with all these trees. Very strange. Okay, so first we're gonna go into the visitor center of the site, and yes, why? Okay, tour bus and the kids on a field trip maybe. So from the visitor center, you have to take a shuttle bus to the actual fortress where we're headed, and it's about a 5-minute drive, I'm told. No seating. I'm just gonna stand on the bus. Before the arrival of the Europeans, the Mi'kmaq lived seasonally in the region. Later, in the 1500s, European fishermen began coming to the coastal waters and established seasonal fishing camps. The French were first to establish permanent settlements on Cape Breton Island in the mid-1600s. In 1719, the French began building a new fortress to protect their colonies from the increasing threat posed by the British.
You folks have made it to the fishing village of Louisbourg. So you haven't quite made it to the Fortress of Louisbourg yet. So the fishing village actually existed before the fortress. The fortress was established to protect the fishing industry and the waters here because the French and English are at war.
But the story of Canada is primarily between the English and the French. And this is one of the main points of French presence in Canada early on. Beautiful entrance. Bonjour. I saw images of this place earlier while doing research for this trip, but and I knew it'd be quite big, but it's bigger than I expected. And wow. I wonder if we could go inside. Bonjour.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm not quite open yet, but I'm glad to have you hang around. I might even be able to sneak you a drink.
Good to see you here. What is this spot here?
Oh, it's a tavern, sir.
The tavern. Several taverns operated inside the Fortress of Louisbourg. They served wine, rum from the Caribbean, and hearty meals. These taverns were one of the main social hubs of the colony. So this is called Frederick Gate, which is the main gate leading to the fortress. There's a little ferry wharf on the other side there. And this is where people would enter Fort Louisbourg after their long journey across the Atlantic to get here. Let's see if we can see the wharf. Okay, so probably the larger ships would set up anchor in the bay somewhere out there, and then they would bring him to here on smaller boats so they could enter the place, kind of like passport control and quarantine. The wonderful thing about this place is you could walk into some of these places and they have... Hello, bonjour.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing just wonderful.
Good. So they're in, I guess, the traditional dress at that time, and they tell stories of just life in Fort Louisbourg. Oh my God, we got a chicken.
So when the recruiting sergeant found me, I was destitute. I had no job, no home. I was a beggar on the streets of Paris. He bought me a cup of wine. The recruiting sergeant, he started talking about this wonderful life. 1, 2, 3.
Bonjour. Hello. So this is a spot where the soldiers would reside, and at its maximum there was up to 800 of them here. So now we're going to go up to see where the soldiers lived. And these were the bunks where the soldiers would sleep. Alright, so yes, it would be 3 people would share a bed, but at most only 2 would sleep at the same time because the other one would be out working. So this is the governor's private bedroom here. And he's got the work desk, a bed, and his own private fireplace. The area around here is very beautiful. It's a very nice natural setting along the coastline here. And here we are at one of the guard towers, looking out. In 1745, British forces besieged Louisbourg for 6 weeks. The French surrendered, and Britain occupied the fortress until 1748. Then, in 1758, a massive British fleet of 150 ships and 14,000 troops attacked again. After a 7-week siege, the fortress fell, this time for good. 2 years later, the British destroyed Louisbourg to prevent the French from ever returning. For over 200 years, the site remained largely abandoned. In 1961, the Government of Canada began a $25 million project aimed at reconstructing approximately 1/4 of the original town and fortifications. So in this region around Fort Louisbourg, there was a population of natives called the Mi'kmaq. And the population of the natives was just about 1,500 to 2,000, so actually less than the population here at Louisbourg. And the natives would occasionally do trade with the French here, and for the most part they had friendly relations with one another because the French were not much of an expansionist force in this region. More so they just had the fort here established to conduct trade. So relationships with the natives were fairly good, and a lot of them ended up converting over to Catholicism as well. And one last thing before I leave, what do you think this is? It's actually a little bit of a torture device. So if you're a naughty soldier, the punishment would be to sit on here. And muskets would be tied to your feet, weighing you down. So basically your groin, your anus, your whatever that region is between the balls and the asshole, it'd be a painful time. So naughty soldiers who misbehave would be stuck on here for upwards of 20 minutes as a punishment, and yikes. What a nice looking torture device though. Don't want to sit on there though. Man or woman. I don't know what's worse. Maybe woman would. I don't know. But no, not a nice place to be. And that's our last view of the barracks there. That was tremendous. Really nice to walk around. I've been here for about an hour and a half, maybe a bit longer. And I'm sure I could stay longer, but I got other things to do today. But I am very glad I made the detour to come see this spot. It's the 4th National Historic Site that I've visited in my trip in Canada thus far. And it's the first one that I've seen in the province of Nova Scotia. So a lot of people come up to this part of Nova Scotia to do the Cape Breton Trail. And I'm sure that's going to be phenomenal as well. I haven't even seen it, but going to be there later today. But if you're in this part of Nova Scotia, I would also highly recommend coming here. And we got the blue skies in our favor today.